too many Jambots, it is a bit difficult for us to manage. For me to manage actually, because we have 9 tutorial groups. If 9 tutorial groups, let's say if we have eight, let's say 8 tutorials, okay, 8 tutorials. If we keep all the tutorials until the end, so actually you see, if you have 8 tutorial, 9 groups, we have 72 Jambots. So it is kind of difficult for me to manage and to find. But not to worry, you can actually write down the solution every time you do already. So when we discuss any mistake, then you quickly down, or you can after the class, let's say after the whole tutorial done, then you can use this three button. You click, either you download as PDF, then you copy, or you can actually make, then you keep a copy to yourself lah. So during the before the coursework or before the final, you can actually do revision. Okay, can or not? Any question or not? Can. Okay, so get your lecture notes. We will start to go through the lecture notes, but I will be doing a few pages with you. Okay, we can record the meeting. So I think I will record down the meeting today. Okay, record the lecture. Where I cover the lecture notes, I will record it down, and after that I will post the group pages. And on Thursday, okay, on Thursday I will start from where I stopped today lah. Okay, I will start from where I stopped today. Moment. The computer is a bit old, so it needs some time to react. Okay, I won't be covered too much because this is the first class. Okay, so this is what we are going to do lah. The first part, data presentation. So I will record down our lecture. Okay. So today we will start with some introduction, some definition, the purposes of statistics. Okay, why you need to learn statistics. Okay, some introduction. All right. So for chapter 1, we do data presentation. So first thing, introduction to statistics. Okay, introduction to statistics. What is statistics? Okay, so represent scientific procedures and methods. There are a few steps. Okay, there are a few steps. You need to, for example, first thing, you collect the data. Okay, this is the first step, first procedure. Okay, first methods. We call it scientific procedure. Okay, so first thing is collecting the data. Let's say you want to know, you want to know, let's say the reading habit, for example. Okay, reading habits of the students in Thai UC. So you want to collect the data. Okay, let's say you want to collect the data. So when you interview one students, when you ask them about the reading habit, how many books they read in a month, this and that. So you actually taking the data. We call it collecting the data. Okay, you collect the data. After you collect the data, you don't just leave the data like this. Okay, the data that you have collected, we call raw, means before you process. Right now, raw meat, raw meat means the meat before you process. When you buy it from the market, it is called raw meat before any processing. So if data that you have collected before any processing, we call it as raw data. So raw data, you have to do something. Okay, or else the data is actually meaningless. Okay, meaningless. So you have to do something. So what you do after you get the data, you will organize it. Okay, you will organize the data. So when you organize the data, for example, you can put the data in the table form. Okay, put the data in table form. So when you put the data in table form, the table we call it frequency distribution. Okay, frequency distribution. This is the table. All right. So organize the data that you have collected in the frequency distribution in the table form. So after you get everything nice, okay, nicely in the table form, then you can do the summarizing. Okay, you can get the summary. You can summary the data. All right. Then also on top of that, you can present the data. Okay, presenting and analyzing data. So present is something like, okay, I want to present the data in my pie chart. That's it. So using the data, you can draw a pie chart. Let's say lah, this is what you are able to produce. Okay, draw a pie chart. Then of course, the pie chart will make you easier to visualize. Okay, it will be easier for you to visualize the pie chart. Then you can actually do make analysis. Okay, you can actually make analysis. So you analyze this. Then from here, you can actually say, oh, this one is with the highest frequency because the sector is the largest. Okay, you can analyze the data and also you can actually draw valid conclusion. Okay, draw conclusion and also making reasonable decision. Okay, make reasonable decision. So making conclusion, let's say these are the uh, let's say you want to know what type of books that the student like to read. Okay, you interview them, you collect the data, what type of books that they like to read. So this one, maybe this part, this sector is encyclopedia. Okay, you notice that majority of the student, okay, many students most of the students like to read encyclopedia. So you make conclusion based on the data. Okay, based on the pie chart that you have drawn, it is easy for you to see. Okay, and when we say making reasonable decision is, for example, you need the help of statistics for you to make decision. Let's say sometimes in business, for example, it is very important for you to make the correct decision in order to help your business to gain more money, right? Let's say, for example, you are a restaurant owner. Okay, you are a restaurant owner. You can actually get help from statistics in order to help you to make decision about, let's say, the raw ingredient that you want to buy. Okay, raw ingredient that you want to prepare for your restaurant. Okay, how we do that? So let's say, you can actually use, last year sales from January to December. So you can see last year or 1 year before last year, a few years back, you can use the data maybe 3 years back. Okay, 3 years back. Then if you check the data, if you plot it, then you will notice that actually more or less they follow a trend. Okay, they follow a trend. Let's say during the festive season, December, maybe January, February, the sales is actually better compared to, for example, maybe July, August, October, July, August, September, October. Example only lah, maybe during that period of time, for every year that you have observed, the sales is not so good. Okay, so you can actually plot. Okay, you can actually plot the graph. Okay, plot the graph, and from there you can actually see. Oh, this is the trend. So I actually can predict followed by using the 3 years sales, I can actually predict what is the sales going to be in this year. Okay, you can actually roughly get the idea lah. You can predict, you can forecast the sales for this year and the sales for next year, maybe year after next. Okay, so at least you can actually predict for the near future. But I don't ask you to use last 3 years data to predict for the 20 years. Okay, to predict the sales for 20 years. No, only for the near future because things might change from time to time. But at least we can roughly get the idea. We can do some forecast. Okay, so if you know the sales, then you know roughly how much ingredient you're supposed to prepare, then you can fulfill the customer needs, and at the same time you won't be buying too much of raw ingredients and you waste the money. Okay, it is important things for the statistics where you can actually make reasonable decision, okay, based on the analysis. So basically, statistics here, you see the chart here, the flow chart, you can actually have a few procedure. Okay, there are a few procedure: collecting, organizing, presenting, analyzing, interpreting. Okay, basically these are the procedures of statistics. Okay, so purpose of statistics. Okay, why we need to know statistics? What is the purpose of statistics? So actually, statistical techniques are used extensively by marketing manager, accountants, consumers, educators, politicians, physicians, and etc. So probably you will say, hey, I'm not going to be marketing manager, accountant, educator, politician, and physician. Okay, but don't forget consumers is another groups that will be using the statistical techniques. Okay, some very simple statistical techniques. For example, the mean, the average. Okay, everybody actually will use statistical techniques in our daily life. Just to depends whether you use a lot or just a little bit. But everybody also, you will be using statistical techniques. And here it mentioned statistical techniques are used to make many decisions that affect our life. Okay, that affect our life. Regardless what your future line of work is, you will make decisions that involve data. Okay, so everybody, no matter what line you are in, okay, no matter what line you are in the future, you will still do something related to data, involving data. You make decision, okay, involve data. Then let's say, for example, if you are in the future, probably you'll become a manager in a five-star hotel, okay, or maybe a supervisor in a five-star Michelin restaurant, okay, still you will be using the statistic. You will be doing something involving to data here and there. Okay, let's say probably you want to present your idea. Okay, you want to present your idea. You collect the data. You present your idea. Okay, so if you know statistics, at least you are able to present your idea using the figure, then you are able to explain the figure, okay, to your audience. Okay, all right. And here, reason for learning statistics. Okay, why today you need to learn statistics? Okay, because you want to answer the exam lah, huh? Okay, not only that, okay, reason for learning statistics. First thing, to know how to properly present and describe information. If I give you some information, I ask you to present. Okay, if I give you some data, I ask you to present. So if you know statistics, you can actually present it properly and describe the information. Let's say, if you know statistics, you will be learning one thing we call box and whisker plot. Okay, this is box and whisker. Okay, so if you know statistics, then you are able, when I give you this plot or I give you some raw data, then you're actually able to construct this plot. After you construct this plot, you are able to explain, okay, describe the information you can see from this plot. I believe not everybody know what is this, right? Right now, probably you do know also. You say, hey, what is this? Got tail here and there. Okay, but if you learn later, I mean, I will cover this one in your lesson also, then at least you get the idea how to describe the information, okay, by looking at this diagram. All right, this is one thing. And also to know how to obtain reliable forecasts of just now we mentioned, you want to do prediction, okay, you want to predict, you want to estimate, okay, forecast, or you want to have prediction, estimation. All right, so if you learn statistics, then you are able to do prediction, you are able to have estimation, forecasting, okay, all these things. And also, you will be able to know how to draw conclusion about large population based on information obtained from sample. How to draw conclusion? Okay, you want to draw conclusion about the large population based on information obtained from sample. Alright, before I start to discuss what is population and sample, let me check whether you have any question that you want to ask or not. Okay, anything that you want to ask or not? Am I going too fast that you can't hear or not? Oh, box and whisker. Box and whisker. Box and whiskers. Okay, this one we will cover later in our syllabus also. So far so good. Okay, so now I continue to something more important. Okay, about the